Uh,
Hello everyone, good morning. You people need to wait for some more time because there is no one here in the offline class. So I'm expecting at least a couple of students to join here for offline class. Please let's wait for few minutes. Okay, we will start. Online students, are all of you here? Chaitra, Dikshita, Dilip Kumar, Iram, Kavya, Monisha, Nitya, Sanika, Savita, Vanita. All of you are here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Some of the topics today are very important. I did not want any of you to miss, but many of you are absent here. That's okay. Recently, India, the first topic that I'm picking up is with respect to India's extension of something called extended continental shelf. This topic is related to extended continental shelf. What exactly is this extended continental shelf? Many of you, if you are preparing for this exam, you would be aware of exclusive economic zones, territorial zones, and contiguous zones. Are anyone of you are aware of these things? Territorial zones, contiguous zones, and exclusive economic zones. You are not aware of it. Any of you are online? ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು ಏನು ಅಂತ? There is something called United Nations Convention on Law of Seas, UN Clause 1982. Okay. I will explain you those things. Currently, New Zealand is andre, India has increased its area of claim, uh, in the Central Arabian Ocean, in the Central Arabian Sea, So basically, India has shown that this certain area within beyond there is something called exclusive economic zone, where traditional countries have. There is something called exclusive economic zone. This is the area called exclusive economic zone. Okay. Where traditionally countries have economic rights. Like a country can go for fishing and mining in this area without the intervention of any other country. This is called exclusive economic zone. Beyond that, whatever the sea is called, that is called high seas. ನಮ್ಮ ಕಂಟ್ರಿದು ಒಂದು ಲಿಮಿಟ್ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ ಇಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ, ಇದನ್ನ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಕ್ಲೂಸಿವ್ ಎಕಾನಮಿಕ್ ಝೋನ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. Beyond that, whatever the water is there, it is called high seas. It is international water. It is not a part of any of the countries. So like that, every country has its own exclusive economic zone if it's a coastal country. Like for example, Pakistan, it also has its exclusive economic zone. This is the exclusive economic zone of Pakistan. This area extends 200 nautical miles. 200 nautical miles from the coastline. If this is the coastline of India, from coastline, this exclusive economic zone extends up to how many nautical miles? 200 nautical miles. So beyond that, it is international waters where India or any other country does not have rights. So similarly for Pakistan also, there is this up to 200 nautical miles. There is this exclusive economic zone. Like this, every country who has a coastline has this exclusive economic zone. Beyond that, country does not have any rights. But there is one mechanism using that a country can claim some part of international waters also. So this is something new for this is something maybe new for many of you. Okay. So what I'm telling you, beyond exclusive economic zone also, a country can claim some of the areas. Okay. For again economic activities purposes, like for mining and for fishing. Understanding this? Not fishing, basically for mining. Okay, deep sea mining. So this is called extended continental shelf region. Extended continental shelf region. Not just this, I will tell you, this is like only the introduction of what it is. Okay. So recently, current affairs India has claimed some of the areas beyond exclusive economic zone. Exclusive economic that biಟ್ಟು some of the areas na India claim ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದೆ ನಂದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೆ. Okay. So to understand this better, we have to know about exclusive economic zone in a better way and when the concept of each had arrived. So in 1982, there was a convention. There's a convention called United Nations Convention on Law of Seas. Okay. For everyone, this is very important. Whoever is coming across this topic for the first time, please pay enough attention to this. Okay. This will help you in so many ways. The United Nations Convention on Law of Seas. This is a convention on law of seas. Okay. So this was concluded in 1982. This was concluded in 1982. Okay. So what is this United Nations Convention on Law of Seas, Andra? It is an international agreement. What is this? It's an international agreement, kind of legal framework for controlling and regulating maritime activities. What is this? It's an international agreement for controlling and regulating what? Maritime activities. Okay. What has it done, Andra? Take India. For every country, not just India, for every country, this Convention on Law of Seas has divided the sea into different zones with different rights or different claims for these countries. So, for example, from India's coastline up to 12 nautical miles, this zone is territorial waters, or this is called territorial zone. First zone territorial sea or territorial zone, and another 12 nautical miles from this would be contiguous zone. What is this? Second zone is contiguous zone. Okay. And the third zone is 200 nautical miles from this coastline. How many? At what distance? Till what distance? 200 nautical miles from coastline. This zone is called exclusive economic zone. So United Nations Convention on Law of Seas has divided these waters into 3 zones. First zone is territorial sea zone. Second zone is contiguous sea zone. And third one is exclusive economic zone. You know the distances. And this is measured from high tide line. It is measured from which line? High tide line. Coast line ಅಲ್ಲಿ exact ಆಗಿ ಯಾವ ಲೈನ್ ನ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಮೆಜರ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ರೆಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಲೈನ್ high tide line. There are 2 lines called high tide line and low tide line. Okay. So for measuring the distances, they consider I'm not sure it should be low tide line, sir. They consider it low tide line. From low tide line, okay. 12 nautical miles territorial sea, another 12 nautical miles contiguous sea, and third one exclusive economic zone. And understand that, please be careful. Exclusive economic zone starts from low tide line, okay, not from here. From here it would be total 200. 12 plus 12, 24. 200 minus 24, 176. From here, from contiguous zones, from contiguous zone, it's 176 nautical miles. Nautical miles, 176 nautical miles. So what is this? And one more thing, in each of these zones, a country has different rights. In territorial sea, complete rights are allowed. Like it is sovereign part of India, just like land. ಈ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಮೇಲೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದ ಯಾವ ತರ ಸಾವರೆಂಟಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತಲ್ವಾ, ಅದೇ ತರ ಟೆರಿಟೋರಿಯಲ್ ವಾಟರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಾವರೆಂಟಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ here states or these countries have complete jurisdiction, both in the air space, both in the airspace, on the surface water and deep sea. ಮೂರು ಕಡೆ. So if this is the low tide line, this is the land, 12 nautical miles. What is this? First zone, territorial sea. So I'm telling you, in territorial sea, a country has jurisdiction in the airspace, surface water, and as well as deep sea, and complete jurisdiction. Okay, no limitations. After that, another 12 nautical miles from here is called which zone? Contiguous zone. This in contiguous zone, airspace is not there. Airspace rights are not. Airspace jurisdiction is not there. Okay, ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? But limited rights on surface water and deep sea. Okay, limited rights ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Only which are necessary for the security of a country. Okay, to prevent like unlawful activities, like for example smuggling, human trafficking, okay, or any suspected activities. Anta activities na prevent ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಇಲ್ಲಿ jurisdiction extend ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So limited jurisdiction in contiguous zone. Second zone ಯಾವುದು? Contiguous zone. Here there are limited jurisdiction is available. Next, coming to this zone, from here to here, exclusive economic zone. This is only, it's a zone where a country has only economic rights. For example, fishing rights and mining rights. No other laws are applied here. Understanding this, in exclusive economic zones, no other laws are applied except economic rights. And beyond this, what is this called? Beyond this, it's international water. Correct alva? Avagle helidde. International water andre, if ಬೇರೆ ಕಂಟ್ರಿ ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಕ್ಲೂಸಿವ್ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ಝೋನ್ ಬರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ? ಇದು ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಆರ್ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸೇ ಹೈ ಸೀಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕೂಡ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. Okay, so this is the basic all of you must have known already. Any doubt in understanding this? ಈ ತರ zones ಆಗಿ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಯಾವ ಕನ್ವೆನ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ? UN Convention on Law of Seas. When did it came up? When did it has come up? In 1982. Okay. Any doubts in understanding this? Okay, so this was the noun fact for many of you. But now I'm telling you, can a country claim an area beyond exclusive economic zone? So this is the exclusive economic zone that I was talking about till 200 nautical miles. Now the question is, can a country claim any area beyond this? Have you understood the question? Can a country claim any area beyond exclusive economic zone? The answer is yes or no. Okay, in case the island ididre, again 200 nautical miles in exclusive economic zone agutte. Again question comes, beyond 200 nautical miles, beyond exclusive economic zone, can a country claim? It's, huh? Although again it is building artificial islands, and again will be part of exclusive economic zone only. But my question is, beyond exclusive economic zone, can a country claim any rights? The answer is yes. And one option is available for any country that to extend its rights beyond that is by exercising something called extended continental shelf. Okay, that's called extended continental shelf. This is like for for any geological or for any geographical reasons. Like if you know geography a little, you know that oceans are different zones. Okay, so if this is the ocean, the first part is called continental shelf ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. Ocean ನಲ್ಲಿ ಮೊದಲನೇ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಏನಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ? Continental shelf. This is continental slope. After that, this is continental rise and deep sea. That's plain. Okay. So, but first part ಏನಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ oceans ಅಲ್ಲಿ? Continental shelf. Okay. In case naturally continental shelf ಇಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಡ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಬಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಕ್ಲೂಸಿವ್ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ಝೋನ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಎಂಡ್ ಆಗಿದೆ? ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಎಂಡ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ? ಎಕ್ಸ್ಕ್ಲೂಸಿವ್ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ಝೋನ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಎಂಡ್ ಆಗಿದೆ? ಬಿಫೋರ್ ದ ಎಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಾಂಟಿನೆಂಟಲ್ ಶೆಲ್ಫ್. But our natural boundary, like continental shelf, is extending beyond exclusive economic zone. In such conditions, under special conditions, a country can request to an organization. I will tell you what is that. Okay. A country can request to an organization giving certain rights beyond exclusive economic zones. For what reasons? For the reason that the extended part here is natural boundary of a natural part of India, a natural part of any country. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? So it is naturally part of this continent, this land mass. For example, now India is now currently news ಏನಿದೆ ಹೇಳಿ? Beyond exclusive economic zone, India is claiming certain areas here. Beyond exclusive economic zone, India is claiming certain areas in the Arabian Sea. Where? In this Arabian Sea. Okay. So how is it claiming? As what is it claiming? It is claiming it as extended continental zone. Have you understood what is extended continental zone? Extended continental zone is that area claimed by any country for the reason that it is natural part of the Indian landmass. Naturally, continent self ilorga extend agide. So it is naturally, for geographically or geologically, it's connected with Indian landmass. Hence, India can request. India cannot claim on its own. India has to request. Okay, if approved, what will happen if approved? If approved, India will get right over seabed only. Where? Exclusive continental zones only, India gets rights over seabed only. For example, if there are any polymetallic nodules, okay, if there are any oil reserves, okay, in the seabed, that India can utilize. India can go for mining, but surface waters only rights iralla. Is it clear, all of you? Because the continental shelf, the deeper part of the ocean, is natural boundary of this India. Hence, India gets rights over this area also. Any doubt in understanding this, online students?
Sir, I had a doubt.
Yes.
In case if we extend the continental shelf in that way, what about the other countries? Will they not object if India extends its continental shelf?
Yeah. So yeah, it can object. When it will object? Obviously, if there is another country, for example, there is no country here. Assume there is an island here. Okay, island country. Assume. If this would have been part of exclusive economic zone of that country, of course it would object, and we cannot claim that area. This is part of, first of all, this is part of beyond exclusive economic zone. What do we call? High seas or international water. It should be high seas always. High seas are those areas where no country has any claim. It is international water. Hence, countries will not do not have any rights to object because international water, and we are doing it legally. We are requesting an organization that is granting us permission. Only if it grants permission, we get rights. Okay, because it will be part of international waters, no country can object. But nearby countries can object. Okay, by claiming that that's part of their exclusive economic zone. Okay, but recently, if when India has extended this, of course, Pakistan is an area which is very close to here, so it is objecting to it. Okay, so basics artha aita eldrigo. Have you made running notes on event clause? All of you online students have you made running notes of event clause. If you haven't, just write in short. Just draw this map. UN clause 1982. Write the full form. United Nations Convention on Law of Seas 1982. Just draw this. This is the land from low tide line. From low tide line, 12 nautical miles is first zone, that's called territorial zone. What is that called? Tell me. Territorial zone. And the second zone is called contiguous zone. Okay. It's called contiguous zone. It's also 12 nautical miles from territorial waters. And from the baseline, that is low tide line, up to 200 nautical miles is what? Exclusive economic zone. Exclusive economic zone does not start from here. It starts from here only. Okay. So what are the differences between three zones? In territorial zone, entire jurisdiction is applicable of this country. Okay. Like jurisdiction over airspace, surface waters, as well as deep sea. In contiguous zone, some limited rights can be exercised by this country. Only limited application of law is allowed, which are related to the security of the country. Okay, safety and security of that country. Like for example, laws related to smuggling and trafficking can be applied in contiguous zone. And exclusive economic zone from here to here is that area where a country has economic rights only. What rights? Economic rights. It is 200 nautical miles from this baseline. Okay. So these divisions, this classification has been done in United Nations Convention of Law of Seas. Currently, the news is about extended continental shelf region. Extended continental shelf. So what is extended continental shelf region? It is an area beyond exclusive economic zone in the high seas, right? Where a country can claim for the reason that it is natural boundary of that country. For geographical and geological connections with that part of the sea, a country can claim that area. Okay. On what criteria? Just natural or geological criteria anta haಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Okay. Everybody understood what is extended continental shelf? It is area beyond what? Really? Beyond exclusive economic zone in international waters or high seas. A country can claim based on geological criteria. Okay, a country can request for extended continental shelf. Write it down. A country can request for extended continental shelf by submitting scientific and technical evidence to Commission on Limits of the Continental Shelf. Commission on limits of continental shelf. By submitting scientific and technical evidence to ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇವಾಗ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಡೆಡ್ ಕಾಂಟಿನೆಂಟಲ್ ಶೆಲ್ಫ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಲೇಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸೈಂಟಿಫಿಕ್ ಎವಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಜಿಯೋಲಾಜಿಕಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಅವರ್ ಕಂಟ್ರಿ, ಅವರ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಮಾಸ್ ಅಂತ ತೋರಿಸ್ಬೇಕು. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಇದು ನಮ್ದು ಕಾಂಟಿನೆಂಟಲ್ ಶೆಲ್ಫ್ ದ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ತೋರಿಸ್ಬೇಕು ಸೈಂಟಿಫಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ. ಹೆನ್ಸ್ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಗ್ರಾಂಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ಟು ಯುಟಿಲೈಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್, ಯುಟಿಲೈಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಸೀ ಬೆಡ್ ಅಂತ. ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾ? ಅಂತ ಯಾರಿಗೆ ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಹೇಳಿ? ಕಮಿಷನ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಲಿಮಿಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಾಂಟಿನೆಂಟಲ್ ಶೆಲ್ಫ್. Now what is this? This has been established during under United Nations Convention Law of Seas. We have already discussed United Nations Convention Law of Seas of 1982, right? So this commission has also been established under the United Nations Convention on Law of Seas. Okay. So its main objective is to grant countries or to regulate countries over the usage of continental shelf region beyond exclusive economic zones. Beyond exclusive economic zones, continental shelf region utilize ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಕ್ಕೆ countries ಗಳನ್ನ ಇದು permissions grant ಮಾಡೋದು. Okay, so you already know that. So it's this commission meets in United Nations UN headquarters. Where is UN headquarters? New York. Okay, so this commission headquarters also is there in New York. And there is one more area in news, that is Sir Creek at the New Zealand. Because of the same, it is associated topic. Like when India is claiming this some part of Central Arabian Sea as part of as it is part of India's extended continental shelf region. Okay, so India, there is one more part which is in dispute, that is here. That's called Sir Creek. ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದೀರಾ? Sir Creek ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಏರಿಯಾ ಇದೆ. Creek means, you know, Gulf. This is Gulf of Cambe or Gulf of Khambat ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ಗೊತ್ತಾ? This is what? Gulf of Kutch. Gulf ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ? Gulf ಅಂದ್ರೆ it's like narrow stretch of water, right? Which is surrounded by land, three sides. It's like indentation in the coastline. Coastline ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂಥರ ಇದು bend ಇದ್ದಂಗೆ. Here water can accumulate and it can create a narrow stretch of water, right? So this is Gulf. If it has wider mouth, it's called bay. ಈ ತರ ಮೌತ್ ವೈಡ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಬೇ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. Bay of Bengal. Like this is Bay of Bengal. You can see wide mouth here. Correct? This is Bay of Bengal and this is Gulf. Understand this? A small gulf is called creek. ಇದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಗಲ್ಫ್ ಆಯ್ತು. ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾ? There is a small gulf. It is called, ಏನಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ ಇದನ್ನ? Creek. So there is one creek. The name of that creek is called Sir Creek, which is there here. ಯಾವ ರೀಜನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ? ಗುಜರಾತ್ ಕಚ್ ರೀಜನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ. ಗುಜರಾತ್ ನ ಕಚ್ ರೀಜನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಕ್ರೀಕ್ ಇದೆ. ಕ್ರೀಕ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? Creek is like a small gulf. This creek is located, Sir Creek is located in Kutch region of Gujarat. And this separates Sindh region of Pakistan from Kutch region of India. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಪಾಕಿಸ್ತಾನ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಂಧ್ ರೀಜನ್ ಇದೆ. ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾ? ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಗುಜರಾತ್ ಕಚ್ ರೀಜನ್ ಇದೆ. ಈ ಮಿಡ್ಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ಕ್ರೀಕ್ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಪಾಕಿಸ್ತಾನ್ ಡಿವಿಷನ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಬೌಂಡ್ರಿ ಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಿತ್ತು. ಈ ಕ್ರೀಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬೌಂಡ್ರಿ ಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್ ಇದು ವಾಟರ್ ಬಾಡಿ, ಕ್ರೀಕ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವಾಟರ್ ಬಾಡಿ, ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್ ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಥಾಲ್ವೇಗ್ ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್ ಅಂತ. ಏನದು? ಥಾಲ್ವೇಗ್ ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್. ಅಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಥಾಲ್ವೇಗ್ ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್, ಇಫ್ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಬಾಡಿ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಟೂ ಕಂಟ್ರೀಸ್, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಬೌಂಡ್ರಿ ಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ದ ಲೈನ್ ಶುಡ್ ಗೋ ಮಿಡಲ್ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಬಾಡಿ. ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೀನಿ? ಇಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಕ್ರೀಕ್, ಓಕೆ, ಏನಾದ್ರ ಹೆಸರು? ಸರ್ ಕ್ರೀಕ್. ಸರ್ ಕ್ರೀಕ್, ಓಕೆ. ಇವಾಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಕಿಸ್ತಾನ ಇದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಇದೆ. ಇವಾಗ ಇದು ವಾಟರ್ ಬಾಡಿ ಇದೆ ಮಿಡ್ಲ್. ಥಾಲ್ವೇಗ್ ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ? ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಬೌಂಡ್ರಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ನಾವು? ಮಿಡ್ಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ, ಓಕೆ. But Pakistan has objected to this. It is said that it's a shallow water body, hence this law does not apply. So we claim entire creek area. Anta Pakistan ಹೇಳೋದು, okay. But India is opposing that. So we accept Thalweg principle. So this is for your exam, they'll simply ask you, Sar Creek is disputed between India and Pakistan. You should know that. And where is it situated? Where is this located, Sar Creek? Kutch region of Gujarat. And it makes you remember that Thalweg principle. Okay. Understanding that? So Thalweg principle in ಹೇಳುತ್ತಂದ್ರೆ boundary can be fixed only in the middle of the navigable channel. Boundary ಎಲ್ಲಿ fix ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತೆ? Middle of the navigable channel. Navigable channel. Yes, that's important. Navigable channel ಅಂದ್ರೆ here ships and you navigate ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ. But Pakistan says that this is not a navigable channel. Hence we do not accept Thalweg principle. Okay. Understanding that? Pakistan and ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ this is not a navigable channel and Thalweg principle does not apply. So in this topic, we have understood about, let me revise quickly. Otherwise, you would see like it is scattered here and there. In this chapter, in this topic, we have discussed about basics of United Nations Convention on Law of Seas, where we have learned different territories called territorial sea, where all rights are applicable. It's a sovereign part of any country. And second part is contiguous zone, where limited rights are only applied like for security purposes. And third part is exclusive economic zone, where economic rights are available for any country, right? And beyond that also, in international high seas, a region called extended continental shelf can be claimed by any country by submitting scientific evidences to which commission on limits of continental shelf. Is it clear? So this is headquartered in New York, United States of America, okay, where United Nations headquarters is located. And it's, what is the function of this commission? To grant permission for the countries to utilize extended continental shelf region. Okay. Because this was a big topic, it took 30 minutes. And before that, why you people are coming late? I had to wait for 20 minutes almost. I started class late because of you. If no one is here, how can I teach? Haveri, Izaz, huh? Why? Every day it's happening. Hema, why are you not coming on time? Whatever. You should keep this as your first priority and come on time. Okay? Haveri, ನೀವು ಬಂದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಗೂ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ ನೆನ್ನೆ. Tell me, if no one is here, whom shall I teach? Okay, whatever. Let me pick up another topic, another important topic. Just a second. Okay, I'll pick up a topic related to corporate social responsibility. Kelidira, what is corporate social responsibility? Yes, sir. What is this? What is this corporate social responsibility? Go to NGO and huh? Profit ಬಂದಿರೋದು 30%. Hmm. Hmm. NGO na? Tell me, any of you? You are almost close to that. Tell me specifically. Any of you online students, what is corporate social responsibility? What is corporate? Corporate. ನೋಡಿ ಹೆಸರನ್ನ ಡಿಸೈಫರ್ ಮಾಡಿ. Not just IT, any private industry, right? So companies basically. Okay, in layman terms, we can say corporate under companies, right? Private industries or any other industry, mainly industries and companies, right? So those companies, it is talking something about responsibility of those companies. What kind of responsibility? Social responsibility. Okay, here you can understand it such a way that these companies are utilizing the resources of the country, of the land here. Like for example, they're utilizing the land resources, water resources, soil, and any other resources, right? Utilize ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತಿದಾರಲ್ವಾ? Using that, they are gaining profits. Using that, they are gaining profits. And during that, they are also impacting the environment, society, and the economy, right? Is it not true? When a company is making profits, it is having some impact on the environment, surrounding environment, and the society over there, and the social conditions of that place. Hence, it is the responsibility of that company to give something back to the welfare of the people, for the welfare of the environment, okay, for the preservation or for conservation of environment. Understanding this? So that responsibility is called corporate social responsibility, and this is the concept. We'll get into technical details. Okay, but what is this? You should know. Basics. What is corporate social responsibility? Andre, it means the companies take responsibility for the social, environmental, and economic impacts they have on they have because of their economic activities. Okay, so then some part of their profit they should invest for conservation of environment, for poverty reduction, for education, for healthcare, for whatever the social purposes. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ನ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಅವರು ಈ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ವೆಲ್ಫೇರ್ ಪರ್ಪಸಸ್ಗೆ ಅವರು ಅದರ್ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರು ಡೆಡಿಕೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾ? So this was a kind of ethical thing a company shall do, but it is now from 2013, this corporate social responsibility has been made legally binding on every country which fulfills certain criteria, which falls under certain category. Okay, so from 2013 in the corporate social responsibility binding ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಹೆಂಗೆ? They have introduced an act called this corporate social responsibility. They have brought it under Companies Act. Okay, so 2013 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ Companies Act ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Companies Act of 2013. Under that, they have included one section called Section 135. Section 135. Section 135. This Section 135 says that 2% of their average net profit from past 3 years. 2% of their total profit out of their average profit in the past 3 years. ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ? ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ 3 years ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ನ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಆ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ 3 year ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎವ್ರಿ ಇಯರ್ ಆವರೇಜ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬಂದಿದೆ? ಲೈಕ್ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಯರ್ 100 crore, ಪಾಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಇಯರ್ 200 crore, ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಹಿಂದೆ ಅಗೇನ್ 100 crore. ಎಷ್ಟು ಟೋಟಲ್ ಎಷ್ಟಾಯ್ತು? 400 by 3. That would be somewhere around 19 something, right? 19. So that will be average. Okay, that will be 190 crore. That will be what? Average profit. Have you understood this? So section 135 tells that 2% of average profit from past 3 years should be spent for social purposes, for CSR activities. Is it clear? At least 2% of the average net profit from the previous 3 years should be dedicated for CSR activities. So currently news ಏನಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, according to a recent report, there has been rise of 16% CSR funding. ಅಂದ್ರೆ CSR ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಗಳು ಏನು ಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅದು ಈ ವರ್ಷ for 2023-24 for this financial year it has increased by how many percentage? 16%. It's a good news. Like more and more companies are being more responsible and they're giving more funds under this CSR. Is it clear? ಏನಿದೆ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಫೇರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ? ಕಾವೇರಿ, ಏನಿದೆ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಫೇರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ? ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಇವಾಗ CSR ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್? I can see you are not here. That's why I'm asking this. ಏನ್ ಹೇಳಿದೆ? For 2023-24, for this financial year, CSR spending has increased by how many percentage? 16%. Okay, compared to the previous year. And among the companies who have invested in CSR fund, HDFC is topping the list. HDFC has given highest funding under CSR activities. CSR activities ಅಲ್ಲಿ highest spending ಯಾರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ for this year? HDFC, followed by Reliance Industries and Tata Consultancy. Reliance Industry is in second place and third place ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರಿದ್ದಾರೆ? Tata Consultancy. Is this clear? So this is the news. So let me revise. So what is CSR? Have you understood the concept? What is CSR? Corporate social responsibility andre. It is the responsibility of a company for bringing some impact on social, environmental, and economic aspects of a country, right? So the concept is that some part of their profit they should spend for preservation of environment, for welfare of the community over there. Okay, in the fields of education, healthcare, or environmental preservation, etc. Okay, so this CSR concept has been legalized or made legally binding under which act? Companies Act of 2013. So under Companies Act of 2013, they have introduced one section called section 135, as per which, this is the technical thing they can ask you in prelims, as per which 2% of the average profit from past 3 years. In the past 3 years, what is the average profit of that company? Okay, out of that average profit, 2%, at least 2%, they should dedicate for these social welfare activities. Understanding this? For CSR activities. Okay. Now, is it so that every company shall dedicate 2% of its funds for the CSR activities? Every country, regardless of the profit it is making? Is it so? No. So there is something called criteria for CSR eligibility. Not every country is mandatory. It is not mandatory for every company. Okay, only certain high profit making industries, only for certain high profit making industries, this is applicable. So criteria for CSR eligibility is another thing you must understand. Okay, that they can ask you in exam. Criteria for CSR. So there are basically 3 criteria. First one, net worth of the company. First they consider what? Net worth. And second thing they consider the company's turnover. Or do one thing, turnover first bರ್ತದೆ. Turnover, net worth, And lastly, the profit. Net worth should be at least 1000 crores. Net worth minimum ಎಷ್ಟು ಇರಬೇಕು? Sorry, the turnover should be at least how much? 1000 crores. And net worth of 500 crores. More than 500 crores. And profit of more than 5 crores. Profit of more than 5 crores. If they have to ask you a question on CSR, definitely they will consider these points and they will consider the definition, the section 135, according to which 2% of the average, 2% of profits, average profit from past 3 years. Any doubts? No doubt. So today I have to extend the class for a few more minutes because you guys have come late. We need to cover at least 3 to 4 topics here. So we have completed 2 topics by now, right? Okay, let me pick up another topic. It's important. Recently, Odisha government has notified a new national park. This will be, this has become 107th national park. So which is the 107th national park of India? And the question ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ simple ಆಗಿ, a newly notified national park, that is Simlipal National Park. Simlipal National Park. All of you must have heard this before. It is quite famous for what reason? Simlipal is a tiger reserve. ಕೇಳಿದಾರಾ Simlipal tiger reserve ಅಂತ ಒಡಿಶಾದಲ್ಲಿ? In Odisha, there is this Mayurbhanj district. In Odisha, there is this Mayurbhanj district where this Simlipal National Park or Simlipal Tiger Reserve is located. Mayurbhanj district of Odisha. Okay. So now tell me, who notifies an area's national park? ಅಂತ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಇವಾಗ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಫೇರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಓದಿದ್ದೇನೆ ಹೇಳಿ. Odisha government has notified this national park ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೆ. That means generally who notifies a territory as national park? State government. ಇವಾಗಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ, Odisha government has notified ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಏನು? State governments notify, okay, a particular stretch of land as national park. Under which act? Under which act? Anybody tell me? First, let us understand the basics of national parks and who notifies it. So, notification of national park is done by state governments. Under which act? Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. Under Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. Okay, what is this national park and how is it different from wildlife sanctuary? What is this national park and how is it different from wildlife sanctuary? ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಹೇಳಿ. ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಮತ್ತೆ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಓದ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಓದ್ತೀರಾ. Give me only the brief differences. Online students, you can also answer how national park is different from wildlife sanctuary. ಬನ್ನೇರಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ? ಏನ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ? ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಿ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ? ಎಲ್ಲ ಅನಿಮಲ್ಸ್ ಒಂದೇ ಕಡೆ ಇರ್ತಾವ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಜೂ ಬೇರೆ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಕ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಯು ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ರೈಟ್ ಬಟ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ತಿರೋದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ವೈಲ್ಡ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಸ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಚುರೀಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಅನಿಮಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, ಅಂಡ್ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಬ್ರಾಡರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ. ಬಟ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್. ಐ ಟೆಲ್ ಯು ವೇರ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಎರ್ರಿಂಗ್. ನಿಮ್ ಬೇರೆ ಹೇಳಿ Yes. National park, yeah. Yes. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ correct level ಗೆ. So wildlife sanctuary andre, as you people said, two of you said, wildlife sanctuary means where you are preserving the wildlife. Wildlife can be both plants and animals, but generally animals and their habitat. Okay. But their main focus is conservation of a particular species or one or two species, where we are focusing mainly on wildlife. That's a wildlife sanctuary. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? Habitat would be anyway protected. If you for the conservation of wildlife for a particular animal, you must have to protect the habitat also. Okay. But in case of national park, you are not just focusing on the conservation of that wildlife, but also conservation of entire area, entire landscape. Okay, the water bodies there, the soil there, okay, the forest, everything, where the focus is not just conservation of particular selected species, rather than protect and conserve entire area. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್. Wildlife sanctuary means the main focus point is conservation of specific types of species. Correct? Like for example, there's wolf sanctuary antitre, you are focusing on the conservation of particular variety of this wolf. Peacock sanctuary antitre, you are focusing on the conservation of this particular species of peacocks. I understand this. Whereas in national parks, you are not just focusing on the conservation of specific type of species, rather than the conservation of entire landscape, which includes everything over there, which includes wildlife. Of course, it includes the plant, flora and fauna both, the soil, okay, and the water bodies, okay, and whatnot, everything which is part of that. Understanding that? Okay, now if you have to make certain differences, conservation is tell me the protection level, okay, which is more stricter, wildlife sanctuary or national parks? Human intervention ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ restrictions ಇದಾವೆ?
National parks.
Wildlife sanctuaries ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
National
Students,
National park.
ಹೇಳಿ, ಇಂತಿದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಅಷ್ಟಿಗೆ ಅಲೋ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ರೆಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ? National parks are more stricter, remember this. National parks are more stricter, okay. So conservation level ಅಲ್ಲಿ highest grade of protection ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮಗೆ? National parks ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. Okay, ತುಂಬಾ ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. But national park ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಸಹಿತ I won't dictate this, you can make running notes, otherwise you can read it in basics. So there is this core region ಅಂತ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಬಫರ್ ಝೋನ್ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಎರಡನೇದು. ಮೂರನೇದು ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಿಷನ್ ಝೋನ್ ಅಂತ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಕೋರ್ ಏರಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ನೋ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಅಲೌಡ್, ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ಲಿ ರೆಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟೆಡ್, ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಅಲೌಡ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ದಿಸ್? ಓನ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ದೇ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಅಲೋ. ಓಕೆ, ಫಾರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ದೇ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಅಲೋ. ಅಂಡ್ ಅಲೋ ಯಾರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ಗೋಸ್ಕರ? ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೂ ಗಿವ್ಸ್ ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್? ಚೀಫ್ ವೈಲ್ಡ್ ಲೈಫ್ ವಾರ್ಡನ್ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಆಫೀಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಏನ್ ಹೇಳಿ? Every state has an official called, what's the name? Chief Wildlife Warden. Okay, he has to give permission. Okay, so core areas highest protected, where no activities are allowed, complete prohibition of human intervention here. Okay, and second zone is what? Buffer zone, where limited activities are allowed, like ecotourism. Ecotourism is allowed for research activities and all, it is allowed naturally. And transition zone ಅಲ್ಲಿ all activities are allowed, but economically sustainable way they should practice it. For example, ಇಲ್ಲಿ villages ಇರ್ಬೋದು, agriculture lands ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾ? ಬಟ್ ಅಗ್ರಿಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಮಾಡಂಗಿದ್ರು ಸಸ್ಟೈನಬಲ್ ಅಗ್ರಿಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಈ ತರ ಕೆಮಿಕಲ್ ಫರ್ಟಿಲೈಸರ್ಸ್ ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಈ ರೀಜನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್? ಬಟ್ ಓವರ್ ಆಲ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ದಿಸ್ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಕ್, ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸೇ ದಟ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವೆನ್ಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್, ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾ? Human intervention is almost restricted anta helbodu, because national park andre we consider this zone basically. This zone we do not specifically have consider officially, officially we consider it part of national park, but it is generally not considered as national park. When you consider national park, you generally refer to core area and buffer zone, this area, okay, where human intervention is almost prohibited. But in wildlife sanctuary, ಇಷ್ಟು restrictions ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. Okay, so ಅಲ್ಲಿ wildlife sanctuaries ಅಲ್ಲಿ human activities, human interactions ನಡೀತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, but ಅಲ್ಲಿ limited activities. Okay, like for example grazing is allowed in wildlife sanctuaries, but ಅಂದ್ರೆ ದನ ಕರು ಮೇಯಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು ವೈಲ್ಡ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಸ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಚುರಿ. ಬಟ್ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಕ್ ಬೌಂಡ್ರಿ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮುಗೀತು, ನೋಬಡಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಎಂಟರ್ ಇನ್ಸೈಡ್. ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾ? ಬನ್ನರ್ಘಟ್ಟ ನೀವು ಹಿಂಗ್ ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಇಲ್ಲ. ಓನ್ಲಿ ಈ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಿಷನ್ ಝೋನ್, ಬಫರ್ ಝೋನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ದೇ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಟೂರಿಸಂ, ಇಕೋ ಟೂರಿಸಂ ದೇ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್. ನೀವು ಸಫಾರಿ ಗಿಫರ್ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಸಹಿತ ಕೋರ್ ಬಿಡಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಬಫರ್ ಝೋನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? ಸೊ ಹೈಯೆಸ್ಟ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ? National parks. Okay, so you can write such small points. So it's like highest level of protection to conserve its wildlife environment. Okay, and the landscape, wildlife environment and the entire landscape. So broad agi barಕೋಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ no human activities permitted inside the national park. ಈ ತರ ಬರಿದ್ರೆ ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾ? No human activities permitted inside the national park, except once permitted by, in case ಏನಾದ್ರು ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾರು ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ತಗೋಬೇಕು? ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ನೀವು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾರು ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ತಗೋಬೇಕು? ಚೀಫ್ ವೈಲ್ಡ್ ಲೈಫ್ ವಾರ್ಡನ್. ಸೊ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬ ಚೀಫ್ ವೈಲ್ಡ್ ಲೈಫ್ ವಾರ್ಡನ್ ಇರ್ತಾನೆ. ಈ ಚೀಫ್ ವೈಲ್ಡ್ ಲೈಫ್ ವಾರ್ಡನ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದು ವೈಲ್ಡ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಸ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಚುರಿ, ವೈಲ್ಡ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 1972. ಜೊತೆಗೆ ವೈಲ್ಡ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಸ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಚುರಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಂಪ್ಯಾರಿಸನ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ? ವೈಲ್ಡ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಸ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಚುರಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ಯು ಆರ್ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ದ ವೈಲ್ಡ್ ಲೈಫ್, ದಟ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಸ್ಪೀಸಿ and their habitats. Okay, with some human some controlled human activities. That means human activities are allowed, but there are so many restrictions. And one more thing, one more important thing I'll tell you. Okay, this they can ask you in exam. Who can notify a territory as wildlife sanctuary or national park? ಯಾರು ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಯಾರು ನೋಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು? ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಇವಾಗಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದೆ, ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಕ್ ಅಂತ ಯಾರು ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಬಟ್ ಒಂದ್ಸರಿ ನೋಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ, ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಕ್ ಒಂದ್ಸರಿ ನೋಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಆ ಬೌಂಡ್ರಿ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಏನ್ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಬೌಂಡ್ರಿ, ಇವಾಗ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಬೌಂಡ್ರಿ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಬೈ ದಟ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇದನ್ನ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಕ್ ಅಂತ ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ದ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ವಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಟು ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ದ ಏರಿಯಾ, ಈ ತರ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಇಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಏರಿಯಾ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಕ್ ನ ತೆಗ್ದಾಕ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಇಟ್ ಡೂ ಇಟ್? ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ನೋಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಅವರೇ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್. ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾ? ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ನೋಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರು ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಆರ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸ್, ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್, ಇವನ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಂಗಿದ್ರು ಸಹಿತ, ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಡೂ ಇಟ್? ನೋ. ಫಾರ್ ದಿಸ್ there is a committee called, there is something called National Board for Wildlife. This is in central government. Central government ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ವೈಲ್ಡ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಇದೆ. ಏನಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ ಇದನ್ನ? National Board for Wildlife. This is apex advisory body in central government. It is headed by, it's important because it's headed by Prime Minister. It is headed by Prime Minister. Who is the chairperson of National Board for Wildlife? Prime Minister. Vice chairperson is Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Minister of Environment is the vice chairperson. He is the chairperson, and Minister of Environment is the vice chairperson of this. And this body has total 47 members, including Chief of Army Staff or Chief of Defense Staff. Okay. So it has 47 members, and this is the advisory body. In case in exam they separate ಆಗಿ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಆಫ್ ವೈಲ್ಡ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು ಈ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ನೀವು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅಡ್ವೈಸರಿ ಬಾಡಿ, but highest advisory body. That means the decisions are not binding. It just gives advices. But because it is chaired by Prime Minister, whatever the decisions are taken here will be implemented by the government or the ministry. Ministry is implement ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕು because you can see who is the chairperson. Prime Minister is the chairperson. And this was introduced in 2002 under Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. ಇದು ಕೂಡ ಯಾವ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದನ್ನ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಹೇಳಿ? ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಟ್ಯುಟರಿ ಬಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದಾ? Is it a statutory body? Statutory body means if it is established under particular act of parliament, like act ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತಾ, ವೈಲ್ಡ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಬಂತ, ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದನ್ನ ಎಸ್ಟಾಬ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಟ್ಯುಟರಿ ಬಾಡಿ. It is established in which year? 2002 by amending Wildlife Protection Act. So what is the current news? ಸಿಮ್ಲಿಪಾಲ್ ಟೈಗರ್ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಇತ್ತು ಇಷ್ಟು ದಿವಸ, ಅದನ್ನ ನೋಡಿ ಒಡಿಶಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಸಿಮ್ಲಿಪಾಲ್ ಟೈಗರ್ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಇತ್ತು. ಓಕೆ, ಸಮ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಟೈಗರ್ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಈ ರೆಡ್ ಕಲರ್ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಇದನ್ನ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಕ್ ಅಂತ ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿ. And not entire tiger reserve, but some part of this tiger reserve now has been designated or notified as national park. With this, this has become 107th. Total India the ಎಷ್ಟು national parks ಇದೆ ಸದ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ? 107. Okay, how many national parks are there in India? 107. So where is this located? Simlipal National Park or Simlipal Tiger Reserve? Odisha, which district? Mayurbhanj district. So there is one important river flowing here, that's called Buddha Balaganga. ಈ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಕ್ ಇಂದ ಒಂದು ರಿವರ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅದ್ರ ಹೆಸರೇನು? ಬುದ್ಧ ಬಾಲಗಂಗಾ river. Simlipal is also wildlife sanctuary. It's a tiger reserve. It's a biosphere reserve. Remember this. Simlipal ಏನೇನಿದೆ ಹೇಳಿ? It's not only national park, recent ಆಗಿದೆ. Earlier, it was already a wildlife sanctuary. It was already a tiger reserve. It was already a biosphere reserve. And it is part of Mayurbhanj Elephant Reserve. Okay. So elephant reserves ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಮೈಕ್ ಸೈಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಇದಾವೆ. You will read it in your basics. Okay. So ಮೈಕ್ ಸೈಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ದು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಮಯೂರ್ಭಂಜ್ ಎಲಿಫೆಂಟ್ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಅಂತ ಕೂಡ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So there is this Mayurbhanj Elephant Reserve. So Simlipal is part of Mayurbhanj Elephant Reserve. The forest area is dry deciduous forest. Forest ಯಾವ ಟೈಪ್ ಇದೆ? Dry deciduous forest ಇದೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ dry deciduous is highest type of forest found in India. ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗುವಂತ highest type of forest ಯಾವುದು ಹೇಳಿ? Dry deciduous forest. Deciduous forest means those forests which shed leaves in dry seasons. Okay, what's the time? 10:20. So we have completed 3 topics, 3 good topics. Alva. Which are the topics we have completed? Come on, quick revision. Let's sum up. First topic, extended continental shelf region. What is this? It is an area claimed by a country beyond exclusive economic zones. Okay, for that it has to submit a technical report to commission on what is that? Limits of continental shelf. Commission for limits of continental shelf. Okay. If it accepts over this region, any country gets rights over seabed. Remember, it's only on seabed. Okay, it's kind of economic rights for mining, polymetallic nodules, and some other resources over there. Okay, is it clear? As part of it, we have discussed what is territorial sea, what is contiguous zone, and what is exclusive economic zone. So this classification has been given under United Nations Convention on Law of Seas of 1982. Okay. So beyond exclusive economic zone, international water, where no country has rights, exclusive rights. That means it's open water. Anybody can navigate through that. Okay. Next, after this topic, second topic that we have taken up was CSR. Second, ಅದೇ ಅಲ್ವಾ? Corporate social responsibility. You know the concept of corporate social responsibility? This is like responsibility of the companies to invest in social welfare for the impact they have done on society, environment, economy of a country. Okay, is it clear? So under that, so this was made legally binding under Companies Act of which act? 2013. Section 135 of this Company Act of 2013 mandates that at least 2% of average profit of past 3 years of a company should be spent for CSR activities. Yesterday, at least 2% of average profit of past 3 years. Past 3 years, the average profit. Okay, average is important. And what kind of companies are for what kind of companies is it mandatory? There are certain criteria. First one, no. For what kind of company? What is the eligibility criteria? Turnover 1000 crore, net worth 500 crore, profit not 1000, more than 1000 ಆತರ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು. Turnover more than 1000 crore, net worth more than 500 crore, profit more than 5 crore. ನೆನಪಿರುತ್ತಾ ಇದು? ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಬಂದಿದೆ, ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಬಂದಿದೆ, ಇಗ್ನೋರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್. ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ have been asked and they will ask it repeatedly. ಓಕೆ, ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಫೇರ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಏನಿದೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನಿಮ್ ಮೇನ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಇದು ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ಲಿ ಒಪಿನಿಯನ್ ಬಿಲ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ CSR ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇದೊಂದು ಒಪಿನಿಯನ್. ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾ? ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ 2023-2024 ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಇಯರ್ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ 16% ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಕಂಪೇರ್ಡ್ ಟು ದ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಇಯರ್. And which company has topped the list in the CSR funding? HDFC, followed by Reliance Industries and followed by Tata. Okay. Third topic we took was Simlipal. Okay. Odisha government has notified Simlipal Tiger Reserve, some part of Simlipal Tiger Reserve as National Park. So with this, this Simlipal National Park has become 107th 107th National Park of India. Previously, 105th and 106th was Dihing Patkai ಅಂತ ಇದೆ, ಅದು 105th ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಕ್. 106th ರೈಮೋನಾ, ಎರಡು ಅಸ್ಸಾಂ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದಾವೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಅನೌನ್ಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ನೋಟಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಯಾವ್ದಾಗಿತ್ತು? 105th ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಕ್ ಯಾವುದು? ದೆಹಿಂಗ್. ಅಂಡ್ DEHING, you can write it down. Dehing Patkai. Dehing Patkai and Raimona, RAIMONA, Raimona. Dehing Patkai is 105th, Raimona was 106th. Okay, and Simlipal National Park is 107th National Park. You know the location of Simlipal National Park? Mayurbhanj district of Odisha. This is part of this Mayurbhanj Elephant Reserve. There is this tiger reserve also there. Simlipal Wildlife Sanctuary is also there. Important river flowing through that, Buddha Balganga. Barsidnala. And notification of, who does the notification of national park? State government. Okay, but the boundaries cannot be altered without the permission from. Ad helidna, the state government cannot alter the boundaries without the permission from National Board for Wildlife. Talking about National Board for Wildlife, it's a statutory body established under which act? Wildlife Protection Act. By amending it in 2002. 2002 ಅಲ್ಲಿ Wildlife Protection Act amend ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು National Board for Wildlife ನ introduce ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. What is this? It's apex advisory body related to environment, okay, and wildlife. ಈ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಅಡ್ವೈಸರಿ ಬಾಡಿ ಯಾವುದು? National Board for Wildlife. It is chaired by Prime Minister. Vice chairperson is Ministry of Environment Forest. It has total 47 members. Okay. So ನೋಡಿ any boundary cannot be changed without the permission of National Board for Wildlife. Not only this, ಈ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಕ್ ಸುತ್ತಮುತ್ತ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇವ್ರ ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ಬೇಕೇ ಬೇಕು. ಯಾವ್ದೊಂದು ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರೀಸ್ ಹಾಕ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಯರ್ ಬೈ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಕ್ ಸುತ್ತಮುತ್ತ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಏರಿಯಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಇಕೋ ಸೆನ್ಸಿಟಿವ್ ಝೋನ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ ಅದನ್ನ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಕ್, ಸುತ್ತಮುತ್ತ ಇಕೋ ಸೆನ್ಸಿಟಿವ್ ಝೋನ್ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಹಾಕ್ಬೇಕು, ಮೈನಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಕ್ವಾರಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಅಥವಾ ಒಂದು ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಹಾಕ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ, ಅಥವಾ ಒಂದು ಡ್ಯಾಮ್ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ರೀಜನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ತಗೋಬೇಕು? ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ವೈಲ್ಡ್ ಲೈಫ್. Without the permission of National Board for Wildlife, no such activities can be done in and around the national park. Is it clear? Okay. And how national park is different from wildlife sanctuary? ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ idea ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? Okay. So with this, we will meet at 11 for science and tech class. And okay. See you.